Hey, welcome everyone. ServiceNow Expeditions here. And as you remember from our last session, we are now preparing our ship to the new series of expeditions. And for that, we switched from the older version of ServiceNow Studio into the new one and connected our application to the GitHub repo. Today, it's time to actually work with it and practice, get some experience. So guys, what are we going to do today?
We are diving into the multi-developer situation. Most of the times you have more than one person working on an instance, and so people are working on maybe the same things and how to avoid those conflicts and how to handle them.
For that, I will switch to the new studio and confirm that we have our application connected to the Git repository. Here on the source control, when I click on it, we will gonna see a lot of different options. Oh, and it looks like there is something pending. Ula, have you been working on it while we were away?
No. Can you please confirm?
Let's check. Oh, it looks like the
Shit.
evidence is here. So, Ula, are you trying to sabotage our mission or what? So I see that you have changed the following business rule, right? This 1003. Let me check. Where is it? Where is it? Business rule. So 1003. And wow, I cannot change it anymore, right?
Yeah.
Why is that?
This is for me, I think the best reason to have connected to source control, that you get this highlighting and it's showing directly when someone else is working on artifacts that you open. You get some heads up to see, okay, should I change it or should I maybe speak to the person working on this before I do some changes?
So this is again about the topic which we discussed last time. When you connect your application to a repo, ServiceNow starts to push you to operate within your own, right? Basically per user or per developer update set. And this is exactly what we are seeing here. I am in my update set here, right? Below. And we have 3 other update sets for Mike and for Ula as well. And this is what is happening. But what is going to happen if I perform a change here? Will both of our versions be captured, or only mine, or only yours, or will it be possible at all?
It's up to you to find out.
All right, so what do I see? The record has been recently modified in update set Ula Norlander by Ula. So I can, it looks like I can, right? Continue and develop or implement some changes using my update set. So let me switch to it. Now, as I am in my update set, I can try and change something. In this case, I will change the description. So as soon as I do that, what will happen? I wonder, will it still show me? No. You see, the pop-up is gone. So which means that now my version is probably superseded the Ula's version. But what is happening in the...
Ivan,
Yeah,
maybe let's have a look on the version list. You mentioned this version.
exactly. Here, down below, we see that the current version is from my update set and the previous one from Ula's. All right, sounds good. Now let's see how does it look on the commit page. If I come to source control and press commit, so what do you think, guys? What are we going to see?
Your change?
Only your change.
Let's check it out. And that's true. It's only mine.
But now I'm interested in you skip the change of Ola. What happens if you click on the compare button? Will you see the change you have done compared to your own change before, or the changes compared to Ola's change?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Let's check it. Oh, it looks like, as we remember, the version that Ula had was having the Ula here, right? But it looks like it's the version that was committed last, right?
Yes. the last version we have in Git.
Yeah, the last
Aha.
publicly available commit.
Wow, that's tricky.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
critical, right? Because
That's-
you have to be super careful not to skip changes by your colleagues who are working in parallel.
Exactly. So probably it's a good idea to get in touch, right? And align if commits should be made, right, by them first.
Yeah.
And then.
I mean, you did decide that you wanted to continue work on that same file. So in essence, the risk is on you if I had some unfinished work that's pending on that file and you just made your changes and then you commit and then you take the risk of me doing something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So could we make a commit?
Yes, let's check.
Great. Now we don't have anything else pending.
Yep.
So what will happen now in this business rule? You see in the version list that all other update sets are now gone, but the versions are still here. However, this one was committed, right?
This is interesting. That means that after your commit, everything Ola has done before is now gone to the white nirvana. I don't know.
It's really strange. It's not in the repo. It's not tracked there, but it still has its version record attached to this record of business rule.
Yeah, that's the only trace of it.
So, which means that you are not losing your changes, right? But they are basically ignored for the main branch. So should we try and, let's say, restore the version from Ula?
Is it the version from Ola?
I think yes.
Can we open it or compare? Maybe we can compare this.
Let's compare. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
You can confirm it.
Yeah, that's the one.
We can also click now the revert to selected version, but I'll open it from the version lists for the better visibility. Back. I'll come here, I open it. And here I can select revert to selected to this version. Which will return the rule to this state. But now it's interesting, right? This was your update set. I restored it, but now it's kind of belongs to me because actually, right, the new version was created and this version was created under my update set and now it belongs to me.
Yep.
Strangely, right, the source is empty because
that's also pointing to a core essence of ServiceNow. It's always fixed forward.
Yeah.
Even though you say that you revert, you don't go back in history. You do a new version, and this version is using the same data that was contained in the old version. So it's always the next version up.
All right, let me see what happens now here. I can again commit changes, and now it should belong to me. Yeah, let's perform the commit. All right, that's great. One of the very good showcases of how the system operates when the application is connected to the Git repo. What's next?
Let's have a look if something's not going to work when you do a commit.
To simulate this behavior, I suggest we can make a change on the Git side. And for that, let me open the Git side. We have a README file. Let's modify and commit it on the GitHub and not on the ServiceNow side.
So that means you can also work here in GitHub and add any files, right? So there's no need to just reduce your work to the ServiceNow side.
Exactly. So let's now switch back. Let's open the application. I will refresh it just in case. And now let's try to...
Ivan, shouldn't we also change something, not just to simulate this race condition? You change something, but on the other side, on the GitHub is also something changed.
Exactly. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Because currently ServiceNow does not know of any changes on the GitHub side, right? And as we have not changed anything, source control will not show us the opportunity to commit. So now let me come back to the business rule, our favorite number 3, and let me change the description again. So now I'm going to create an artifact which can be committed. Let's switch to the expeditions, source control. Now we see the option to commit. Let's try doing it. Okay, we see that under my update set, one change was done to the following business rule, and let's now try to push it. As you see, we do not yet see any errors. So let me add a comment. And now when I will try to commit, let's see what happens.
Red alert.
Fail.
That means ServiceNow identified the differences between our repo on the platform and the GitHub repo. So what can we do about this?
Well, we should download the latest repo configuration. Do we have a mismatch between what's stored in Git and your local instance? So we need to sync it so it's aligned again.
To do this, we need to open source control and try to pull from the repository.
Just one question. Do I remember right? It was previously named apply changes. They have changed the label. Right?
Oh, yes, exactly. That's a very good point.
Oh, yeah.
Apply changes. Yeah, pull from repo. Now we are like coming closer to the standardized terminology.
And if you do this pull from repository, then you also discard whatever you have been doing, the last change that you did on the business rule, that will be overwritten. So you need to decide if you want to save that work.
And that's exactly what we are seeing on the screen right now. As soon as I'm trying to pull from the repo, I'm informed that there is an onCommit file, right, which we changed, and you need to decide what to do. And here we come into play with another feature, which is called stashing. Can you guys tell something about it?
Yeah, stashing is like saving your temporary work in a different location on the instance. No? The stashes are stored in a different table, and to make sure that your work is not destroyed while applying the changes from the repository.
Yeah.
It's just called stash, nothing.
It's actually, yeah. When you are trying to stash something, it's basically the same as store, right?
It's not meant to be a permanent solution, because if you would clone over your instance, or you could lose that work anyway.
You need to be very, very careful. And practically you shouldn't left your stashes lay long enough for them to be overwritten. So they need to be used. So let's try. So the system, when we try to pull from the repository, the system gives us a suggestion to stash it locally, pull the changes, and then afterwards we will be able to access the stash to reapply our work. So let's try if that works. First, we are going to pull, and automatically in the background, the stash is created with the name which we have given on the previous step. Now let's close. And now if I come here, I see that there is no commit anymore possible, right? Because the version is fully aligned with the one on the GitHub repo. But now we can access our stashes. And you see we have a couple of them. One is from a previous session, which we can remove. We don't need it. And another one is the one we have just created with the only option to apply. So let's try it.
One question I see here at the progress bar for the GitHub activities. Does this mean your change is now applied to the GitHub repository, or is it only applied to your local instance?
Yeah, I suppose the system will indicate it. Now it looks like it's only pulled out and basically brought to the moment before we did the pull request, right? So if we come here, we will see it. Yeah. Now let's
have a look at the version list of this business rule again.
Yeah, good point. Let me come here, update the versions, and here we can see that the new version was created again, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That will definitely cause some confusion and errors at some point.
Yeah.
Now let me get back and let me finally commit it. So we basically, or probably most of us, have seen this issue at some point, right? We were just using this particular example on how to trigger it, right? But it could be different situation that is.
Just one another question here. I'm thinking about, what do you think? Is it a good practice to always dash the open work when leaving my computer, so that I can really be sure that my open work is stored in a safe place and is not conflicting with any other changes by other developers?
That is a very good question.
I guess it would depend on pace of development work being done. I mean, how often do you commit? How often do you have releases and so on?
I'm thinking about situations in our globally working world when I finish my work and on the other side of the planet, someone else is starting the work, and
Maybe it depends on how you manage your development activities, right? How big your increments are. If you're working on something smaller, and maybe your practice require you to constantly commit towards GitHub, or if there is something bigger, then probably it's better aligned with your developer team or the people involved in the development. Otherwise, you will be always overwriting each other's job. At some point, it will definitely come to a situation where someone lost everything.
at the end, each project needs
Governance.
concrete
Yeah,
governance, deployment, and developing guidelines. Yes.
fully agree. And as Ula mentioned, the cloning, this is exactly one of those use cases where you can see the errors, right? You were working on the application, then you accidentally cloned. The version's now different, and now the only way you can, you can do this is by pulling and saving.
You should never accidentally clone.
Yeah, well, just when you are young and bold and want to play cowboy. But yeah, don't do this. Try to make sure that conflict are at their minimum. However, sometimes it's tricky, especially if you are somehow working on the customization of a store app. There could be happening different things when the store app got updated and the things got overwritten. I had this many times in the older studio when I was working with the mobile experience, for example. Different things can happen, but it's probably an indication of that you are designing or you are performing your activities not in a very proper way if you have a lot of conflict. So guys, this is it for today. Our ship continues its preparation for a departure into a new season, their unexplored parts of the ServiceNow galaxy. We hope the session was useful for you and you will be able to use it in your daily business. With all that being said, we wish you a great weekend and bye-bye.
Bye.